Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. Today, I don't really have a whole lot of headlines. Hold on, let me change up my lighting a little bit. It's a little bright for the morning. There we go. That's a little bit better. There we go. Now there's not so much of a glare on my skin. I had it just a little bit bright there. All right. Good morning, and thank you for joining me at Good Morning Crypto. I have one headline. It's about gold. I mainly wanted to focus on some price action this morning. All right, let's pull up that stock heat map because we are seeing a little bit of buying pressure stepping in here this morning. We've got Apple down at 3.89% from its close yesterday, looking up 1.05 this morning. We got Nvidia was sitting down at 6.87 off of its close yesterday, got battered off of some of that tariff news, looking up 0.98% in the pre-market so far. We do have Berkshire Hathaway sitting down 2.22, looking up 0.94 in the pre-market. Got Amazon sitting down at 2.93, looking up 1.12 so far in the pre-market. Got Eli Lilly down 2.94, looking up 0.41 so far. Got ExxonMobil up 1.06, looking up 0.75 in the pre-market. Got Tesla up down 4.94, up 0.99 in the pre-market. Got a P&G down 1.23 and up 0.37 so far in that pre-market. We do have the tech sector also getting hit quite hard, down 3.66 in the pre-market, looking up 0.77. Down 2% for Google from yesterday's close, up 0.96 this morning. And we've got Meta down 3.68 off of its close yesterday, up 1.26 for the morning. Let's hop over to the crypto side of things. And we're seeing a little bit of green on that daily. Got Bitcoin up 0.9. Got Ethereum up 1.5, XRP up 1.2. We've got BNB up 1.2 as well. Solana, a big mover to the upside, up 7.1. We've got Doge up 1.9. Tron still being quite the contrarian, down 3.7. Got ADA up 1.9. Leo remaining quite steady as that exchange token up 0.6. We've got Avalanche up 2.3, Chainlink up 2.4. We've got TON up 3.3. We've got Stellar Lumens up 1.6, Shiba Inu up 2.7, SUI up 0.8. We've got HBAR up 1%, Bitcoin Cash up 3.3, and Litecoin up down 1.1%. That wraps out that top 20. Let's get over to the fear and greed. For the stock market, we are still in extreme fear. They did get hit quite hard, so that move back out, that move to the top side of extreme fear got muted off of yesterday's dumping. We do see the crypto side of things still in fear as well. 30 and 1 point to the upside. So seeing a little bit more resilience on the crypto fear and greed index, as we're used to more volatility than the stock market is. And the stock market is not enjoying the volatility the way that the crypto market does. We do see a little bit of liquidity to both the top and the bottom side of Bitcoin this morning. We have some stacking up at 85,560, ranging all the way to 85,700. We do have a very light hotspot to the bottom side at 83,188. We'll zoom this on out to that 3-day, see where that higher term time frame liquidity is, and it's right about that same spot. We did talk about this liquidity area at the beginning of the week, and it's still there at that 86,500, ranging all the way to just below 87,000. We still have that on the 2-week as well. A very hot spot directly to the top side and looking to really sweep that here eventually. We got 86,540 ranging all the way to 86,770. Zoom this on out. That's where you can kind of see more of that bottom side liquidity. We still have some at 64 to 35, but I'm really looking for that top side sweep before we make a decision either way. Let's hop over to the chats this morning. I see Crypto Princess in here and Jessica Luck, and I see a few people lurking. So good morning to you lurkers. We do have a little bit of data coming out this morning out of the U.S. 8:30 Eastern time. We will be getting building permits prelim and building permits month over month. Looking for a bit of a slowdown there. Not too unexpected as, this isn't exactly the best time to be building or buying houses. We also have housing starts looking to be a bit of a slowdown there as well. Housing starts month over month. And we also get initial jobless claims looking like a slow increase on those jobless claims. We also have Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index at 8:30 as well, looking like a massive decrease of 10.5 points on that Fed Manufacturing Index. So all of these combined could be a bit of a market mover to the downside. Nothing too extreme to the downside, as I think a lot of this is expected, especially with the current state of the economy. You do get a press conference from the European Central Bank here at 8:45 Eastern Time. I will be keeping my eye out for that. There's been a lot of tariff talk coming out of the European Union, and I'd like to see what this next thoughts are on the wave of tariffs. We also get Fed Barr's speech at 11:45 Eastern Time. And I believe we had one more Fed speaking this afternoon. I guess not. We get the Fed balance sheet at 4:30 and inflation rate coming out of Japan at 9:30 this evening. So, 7:30 this evening. That is my bad. We are looking at a bit of an increase on Japan's inflation. Kind of watching to see if they will be doing a bit of a rate hike coming at their next decision. They are predicting that to be a bit more likely than at the last one, especially with how that dollar and JPY pair gives them a little bit more of a boost. Definitely increases those Japan carry trade risks. Let's hop over to that Bitcoin chart. We have been seeing us still ranging for the week. We do have a few outliers where we get that sweep to the upside, clear out some liquidity, and sweeps to the downside where we clear out the liquidity as well. But as you can see on these daily candles, we pretty much making the same lows and sweeping a little bit of the highs, but mainly maintaining this price range sideways. Looking for a bit of a break to the upside if we can continue with some money flow here on the daily. Let me get my demonstration tool pulled up, and looking like we're seeing some very sideways money flow for the selling pressure, waiting for this volume to really switch over from that buying volume and hit that money flow as well. So looking for that selling to kind of decrease in this area to really get that push to the upside. Would still need to close a higher term time frame candle above this 85 to 51. We are unable to maintain that range on the short time. You have a little bit of some hopium here, but it is starting to move a little more sideways as that prime oscillator is green, and your MACD is starting to move a little sideways here as well. So looking like we might just make another lower high on this range, and then we'd really need to start looking for some downside action. Let's see what that 4 hour is looking like, and that 4 hour does look like you could see a little more upside here. The prime oscillator is sitting light red, getting that curvature back to the upside. Money flow trying to maintain some of this positiveness, getting a little bit of some curvature here back to the upside, but your volume's starting to peter off just a bit. Looking for that switch from the green to the red here, so indicating some selling pressure is starting to step in all over again at this range. We still have that liquidity to the top side of us, so definitely an easy sweep and grab for some top side liquidity before we really see that selling pressure come in a little bit stronger. Looking for that 1 hour, we do see that looking quite toppy as well, so might see a little bit of some sideways action here for the morning, as our MACD and our indicator line are moving a little bit sideways here. We're printing a much lower high on the histogram with some light green candles stepping in there, waiting for that rollover of the prime oscillator as well, and that money flow to really come out quite strongly. You do see that True 7 is pointing back to the downside as your volume is decreasing as well. Looking like a lot of selling pressure is coming in here on multiple time frames. Looking at this 15-minute, you do see the potential for a last little push to the upside here. You got your money flow maintaining some buying volume here, waiting to see if it can get that curve back to the upside. Your volume's kind of slowing down as well. Just switched from green volume to some red volume here as you're getting a little bit of curvature on the prime oscillator and MACD as well, trying to see if we can get back up to that 85 at 251 that I've talked about over and over before we really see that rejection to the downside. I do have a bit of a downside target I would like to see hold, and that's going to be 82,500. That'd be a nice little area to see some bouncing from if we do get pushed to the downside there. We also have that 81,277. That's the top side of our old CME gap, and we've gotten a lot of play off of that area. As you can see here, got some bounces off of it to the upside before we really fell into there. Got those strong bounces off of it that really pushed us back up towards our resistance area, and we got a lot of play off it back here as well. That strong bounce action off of the top side of that CME gap, got a lot of play off of it here as well. So that'd be that kind of area to watch for if we don't maintain 82,500. Let's see if we have any alt requests for the morning. I just had that one article on gold, and then we'll take a look at that gold chart. Gold US dollar. Gold takes off to fresh record at near $3,300 and logs 25% gains year to date. Gold prices rocketed upward early Wednesday and crossed a never before seen level of $3,290 per ounce. Escalating trade tensions between the U.S. and China have cast a wide shadow over the growth outlook for the global economy. In turn, traders have rotated out of risk assets into the safe space of gold. With this pump, gold took its year-to-date gains to more than 25%, and that's more than $4 trillion in market value added in less than 4 months. The gold market is worth around $21 trillion. In other words, gold is absolutely demolishing its peers this year. The S&P 500, crypto, and the dollar are deep in red paint. The US dollar maintained its downward trajectory today, with its index languishing near 3-year lows under 100. The greenback, down 8% this year, has been kicked out of the limelight across Forex markets thanks to Trump's risky rhetoric on tariffs. Bitcoin is down 10% on the year, while the S&P is floating around an 8% loss. Let's hop over to that gold chart. And as you can see, we kind of rejected off of the golden pocket on my fib extension here. We do have that 236, which would kind of hold us up. That's going to be $3,257. Got that nice Wiccan action off of there on the hourly, on that 4-hour. Let me zoom this on into the hourly, see what the day might be bringing our way here. Seeing that selling volume come in quite strong after an all-time high on gold. Volume still looking quite nice here. Money flow looking quite nice. Volume slowing down just a bit as we're trying to find that strong bouncing action to the downside. Looking like that 382 or 236 would be the spot to look for. That 382 is looking quite strong. We got a lot of play off of that zone, but that 236 is a strong area to retest. It is right above the highs before we saw some sideways action. We do have 3,257 being that price point of the 236. Which would be a very strong area to see some bouncing action off of. I see Duality C in the house. Good morning to you. We've got Sunny Little Tree saying good morning. We got Jay Quick Smoker as well. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day. I know it's evening to you, so I hope you had a great day, and made a little bit of money on the charts. Let's see what we're seeing for the Dixie. That article did talk about the Dixie, and we have been seeing quite a trend to the downside for the dollar. And it talk about a price point at 116. It looks like we might get that last little push to the upside here on the daily. Let's zoom that on in just a little bit here. Seeing some curvature back to the upside here on your prime oscillator, with some oversold signals. Got some reversal signals that have stacked up all the way down, and see a bit of a divergence here as well, waiting for that pushback up towards around our golden pocket before we really see that heavy curve back to the downside. We do have that 97.72 target that we talked about earlier this week. And that would be an area we haven't seen for the Dixie in quite a while. We do have the platinum pocket right below that at 96.81. That's that next area to kind of watch for if you do see that 97.72 get lost, especially with all of the tariff news we've been watching. We do have that hourly also looking like you're going to see a bit of some rollover here, but you are getting that nice sideways movement here. So looking for that last ditch push up, as you do see that curvature on our histogram as our MACD is moving sideways, and our volume is starting to pick back up here on that hourly with that prime oscillator getting that curvature back to the upside here as well. So waiting for that last little push to come in on the dollar before we really roll over a little bit harder there. We do have that 116 being a bit of a resistance area. We are making some very equal lows throughout this range at that 99.20. That would be that area to kind of watch for it to hold before you really start to lose things to the downside with how that higher term time frame is looking. Let's see any alt requests in the chat for me. I see ETH and Radium. So let's take a look at Ethereum. It's been doing quite all right. It's been holding up a little bit better than some other projects have. We had Radium requested as well. I don't know if there's a certain exchange you want me to look at it on, but if not, I'll probably take a look at it on Coinbase. Let's hop over to those alts. We got Ethereum requested, so let's pull it up. And Ethereum rejecting off of that sell wall that I had talked about the other day before we really got that pushback to the downside. Waiting to see if we can maintain some of those strong levels here, but it looks like you might see a little bit of some rejection off of the daily. Let me zoom that on out. Waiting for this sideways movement to kind of play out. You've got your MACD getting that very sideways movement, your prime oscillator as well moving quite sideways here, as you're waiting on that money flow to really slow down on some selling pressure. Looking like that True 7 is still moving to the upside here on the daily as we see all of this selling coming on out. We do have this being we have been seeing a lot of money moving to exchange with Ethereum, and it looks like we might continue to see some outflows here. Volume is increasing just a bit, but it's really struggling against all of this money flow here as that prime oscillator started moving sideways, and that True 7 looks like it's about to clip out on the green. So looking like it might be a little bit toppy here as we get that last ditch push up to probably about 1635 before we roll over all over again. Let me zoom that on in to the 4 hour. And this is where you're seeing that volume starting to taper off as well. That last ditch push of money flow came in and is already headed back out. You do have that True 7 headed back to the downside, and your reversal signal has played out just a little bit here, but it's unable to really maintain any upward momentum as that money flow has immediately started rolling back over, and your prime oscillator is just sitting light red here on the 4 hour. 1 hour also starting to get a bit of a rollover as you see your heavily red money flow, your prime oscillator rolling over, your volume maintaining as some buying volume here, but you got a peak seeker back here when you saw that tap against 1,615. So we'll kind of have to see if we can see that money flow switch over from some red on a shorter term time frame and really bleed over into your higher term time frame. But it's looking like selling pressure across all of your higher term time frames for Ethereum for now. And this sell wall has been extremely strong. You do have this 15-minute looking a little bit positive for a last ditch push to the upside, especially if we see that last ditch push for liquidity grabs on Bitcoin at that $87,000 mark. We do have your prime oscillator getting some light curvature here. Let me zoom that MACD out and then scroll it back in. We're getting that curvature as well on your MACD. We will need to see some of these candles start reversing to the reversing and going back towards the upside here on our histogram, and that's where we're seeing a little bit of some battle on the highs before we got to the push back up, trying to retest this area and push back up to 1,635. We do have very strong support below us at $1,536. If we do reject off of that price point to the upside, I would look back down at that 1,536. We've gotten a lot of play off of that and got a lot of play off of it here as well before we push back to the upside. We did lose all of that, and if we lose that again, we have very strong support at $1,369. All right, we had a Radium requested, so let's hop over to that. any other alt requests for me, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I don't think I have radium on my list anywhere. It's not one of my favorites. No, it is not. All right, let's look it up. We got radium on. Let's go scroll it on down and find it on Coinbase. There we go. Oh, that's a perpetual swap. So let's go with Binance then, and just go off of that one, because looking like I haven't really taken a look at radium on any of those charts. So let's scroll it on out, take a look at that daily, see what we're looking at there. Getting a bit of a bounce back to the upside here. Let's get a fib pulled for the range. We got that highs to the low. Let's zoom it on out, and then scroll that on down just a little bit. Looking like we finally confirmed with our double bottom here. Let's pull from the high to the low. Look at where we might start seeing some resistance for radium. We do have that 236 right above us, being some strong resistance. We got that pushback up towards it before we really dropped back down quite heavily. You do have us breaking the zero line here on our MACD and getting some green here on the prime oscillator as we continue to push up with very positive volume, waiting for money flow to kind of curve back over one last time, probably confirm the highs from this range at 213, where we saw a lot of wicking action off of. Let's get that line drawn up so you really can see that bouncing point. If we do get that drop back down, we have that coming in at about 210, where we saw all of the wicks from right here, and that'd be a good area to retest and confirm as some support. It has been resistance, but it has not been retested. Let's zoom that on in. Take a look at a 4 hour, see what we might be looking for. Getting a bit of some rollover here as well on your MACD, your prime oscillator, looking back to the upside, but you have a lot of divergences here. So the higher term time frame does look quite nice, but as you zoom it on in just a little bit, you might need to retest some of these lower levels. Let's see, we got the lows from this range as well. So let's get that line drawn out. Would be another nice point to kind of see us come back to retest. We got that $1.92 being a bit of a point to retest. If not, I would look back down here at the lows where we saw this very heavy wicking action, indicating a lot of buying pressure. Kind of retest some of that. That's $1.83. So a few little bouncing points to the bottom side. Would really look at what your time frame is. If you are looking at that shorter term time frame, I would look at that $2.10 being a bit of a bouncing point. The 4 hour does look like, if you can't maintain some of this positive money flow coming in, these divergences could really play out. You got a bit of a peak seeker that already came in. Let me get that. You got a peak seeker right here. Some reversal signals as well. So really waiting to see as this volume decreases, if this money flow can continue to push things to the upside. But that would kind of drag things out as your volume is starting to slow down quite a bit. That money flow would probably start to slow down as well. Let's see what the 1 hour and the day might be bringing our way here. And that's where you're really seeing a lot of rollover as well. You are seeing that MACD line sitting below our indicator line here as we're starting to print a very heavy red candle here on our histogram in your prime oscillator. Got those overbought signals and really got pushback to the downside here. You did make a lower high, so keep that in mind. If we are unable to make a higher low, then I would look for some structure shift and that move back to the downside. We have been making higher lows throughout all of this range, and that would be that real shift of structure, as it is no longer making higher highs and higher lows, and that would be that first lower high and a lower low. If you can't get that bounce and continuation off of about $2.10, that's where I talked about that. $1.92 being that next kind of point to watch for. Let's see what the 15-minute and the morning are bringing our way. Looks like the 15-minute is also getting some rollover here as well, getting that curvature back to the downside on our MACD, printing some very heavy red candles here. Your overbought signals are starting to play out as well on that 15-minute as your money flow has started to move back to the red. So keep your eye on that 15-minute to the 1 hour to see if that money flow can get that push back towards the green and really come in with some strength on that hourly, bleed over to your 4 hour, because that's where we were kind of watching to see if we can see that continuation of money flow. Your volume is starting to roll over here on the 15-minute as well, though. So kind of at an interesting point for radium. If you cannot make a higher low in this range, that would be a break of trend, a giant market structure shift back to the downside. Look for that 192 if you can't make a higher low here. All right, we had radium and not seeing any other alt requests. So it's about 5:20 for me. Let me get something pulled up in the background, because we did have a trading competition going on. Let me get that pulled up. There we go. Got that all pulled up, and hope to see y'all kind of getting in on this. It is a free trading competition. You don't have to spend any money, and you can win real cash prizes. So definitely an easy way to make some money if you come out on top. From what I saw the other day, we only have 2 people that have joined our trading competition. So I mean, there's not a whole lot of people to compete with. You can at least get $25. So I will kind of have to see if we have any other people that have joined. Let me get that link pulled up for you in the background and drop it in chat. Let me see if there we go. Oh, I don't want to update that. Okay, I guess I do want to update that. Let me get that pulled up. There we go. I guess it's going to update in the background. Well, I will drop that link in the comments then. So I hope to see y'all at the trading competition. It is a nice way to learn. It does take into account a lot of real market movement. You see, you actually have to not pay your actual money, but from your trading account, you have to pay a trading fee, and that's about $10 per trade. So kind of similar to what you see in the real market. You do have the availability to trade crypto on here. You have the availability to trade your traditional market as well. So kind of something to watch for. Your portfolio is not shown to anyone else, but your placement in the competition is shown to everyone else. So we'll kind of have to see if anyone else ends up joining. I did see a few people, and I will drop that link in the Discord so you can end up getting joined. I will drop that Discord link for you in the chat. Hope to see y'all there. Oh, let's see. There we go. Oh, I guess there we go. I don't know what's going on. Everything's updating. All right. Thank you for everyone that showed up this morning. I appreciate every single one of you. appreciate you participating in the chat. I see Jesus Barack coming in here just as we're winding the show down. I appreciate you showing up. And I will see y'all at the next one. Make sure to tune in to the rest of the shows on the Piper Academy. We got that morning market report at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We got Trading with OC at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to tune into all of those. Hit the like button for them. We give y'all the alpha all day long, and the alpha in the Discord as well. So if you're not a part of that Discord, you're missing out on that. We also have a Blowfin link in the chat with 50% cash back right now. So go ahead, check that link out in the chat and in the description, and get a little bit of money back on Blowfin. Other than that, make sure to wake up, because today's going to be a good day.